Rob, we have been talking incessantly about pretty much the pros and cons of AI, and it comes in so many different permutations. What have you been seeing?
I suppose it's one of my personal frustrations with the cybersecurity industry in general is the prevalence of the our AI is bigger than your AI attitude and thinking throwing more AI at a problem is going to solve all of those problems or all problems is, I think, somewhat short-sighted. What we've seen and what I've experienced personally is that AI is probably just as likely to be used against you as it is to protect you.
There is a great demo video that Rob and I did together where you showed how you actually made malware via ChatGPT and you were able to stop it with Threatlocker, even though it was a brand new piece of malware. That's just kind of the simplest thing that can be used against you. Any other examples you can give?
Well, I mean, one of the things that people have probably noticed is the improvements in quality and spam over the last while. So once upon a time, one of the big shows or the big tells rather in deciding whether or not something was spam was bad English, bad grammar, bad spelling. They're not as easily identifiable as they once were. And that's another great example of where AI is being misused rather than used.
A non-English speaker gets access to Grammarly, and the fact that you can sort of copy and paste HTML to make any image look like it did come from the bank.
This isn't even to mention some of the other uses of it. So things like AI voice imitation.
That is, by the way, I think at the point of perfect, because I've heard others and it's impossible to tell.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And it doesn't require a lot of work.
In those situations, you need to have a verbal password to communicate that this is truthful.
These are just one or two examples of the myriad of different ways that AI can be misused.
Let's just get back to the sort of the summary of what we're talking about here is that it is a double-edged sword, that there are pros and cons, there's wonderful things. And honestly, we see this with a lot of technology is everything that's great to us can also be used against us. It's just with AI, it's amplified at a level that I don't think anyone's aware what could happen.
It is amplified, it's multiplied because of the speed at which it can be used and the ease it can be used. The power of these things is phenomenal. But again, the power can be used for good, but equally the power can be used for bad. And that is something that organizations need to consider.
If you want to know how Threatlocker is doing actually an impressive job of stopping AI malware and helping you sort of understand the tactics that AI can be used against you, go check out what they're doing at Threatlocker, threatlocker.com. And for this video in particular, we'll have a link in the description for that demo video that Rob and I did together where he created the malware with ChatGPT. It's pretty cool. He went through a series of iterations, but then he used it to attack his environment. And because he had Threatlocker involved, they were all able to stop this essentially zero-day malware that he had created. Check it out.